While Suicide Prevention Week is coming up in February, actually from the February 4th to the 8th, we can all benefit from ongoing public awareness about this really important topic all throughout the year. Case in point, while December and the holidays can be a real joyous, fun time, it can often be a challenging couple of months for a lot of people. Financial woes, loneliness, health problems, these are all things that can feel, I think a good word is overwhelming. And that's why in today's episode, we are really pleased to be talking about the great services available through the Centre de Prévention du Suicide Haute-Yamaska et Brome-Missisquoi. This is About Townshippers. Glad you're with us. Hi everyone, my name is Ed Humphrey and welcome to About Townshippers, a weekly show right here on CIDI 99.1 FM and now on CGMQ 88.9 FM. And this is a show where we put the spotlight, we really highlight the events and the services and the subjects that are important to English speakers throughout Quebec's eastern townships. When things are feeling really, really tough, when there are more clouds than sunshine in your day, and when you or someone you know really doesn't know where to turn. Well, it's great to discover the wonderful services in the industry that provide the support, the hope, and the strength when you really need it. And with that in mind, our guest today is Jennifer Chisholm. She's project leader and counselor at the Centre de Prévention du Suicide Haute-Yamaska et Brome-Missisquoi. And Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ed, for inviting me.
So you're a project leader and counselor at the center, but how would you describe your role and what does an average day look like?
Well, first thing is an average day is not a thing in my work. There's not one day that is exactly like the yesterday, and tomorrow will never look like today. So that being said, I do work mainly with my project leader title, which is right now the main project I'm working on is developing services for Brome-Missisquoi on the territory. We do know that Brome-Missisquoi is a very large territory, and sometimes services are not known. So that is my daily job, is to make people understand what the Suicide Prevention Center is and what services we can offer.
So you're doing a bit of PR there.
I do a lot of PR, actually. I meet with organizations. I meet with sometimes with shops, like work areas. I go also with schools. Sometimes you'll see me walking in the street. I walk grocery stores, pharmacies. So you see me everywhere. And I am the one that talks about the Centre de Prévention Suicide Haute-Yamaska et Brome-Missisquoi.
We should get you one of those sandwich boards.
Yes.
You know, you strap it on your shoulders.
Oh, I wish I wanted to have one of those big boards that say free hugs if you know who the suicide prevention is.
That's a good idea. We're going to have to work together.
Yes.
I'll get my people to talk to your people.
Perfect.
Hey, Jennifer, if I'm not mistaken, all over the world in 2024, the theme for suicide prevention has been changing the narrative on suicide. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, let's take a couple of minutes to unravel some of the misconceptions or the myths surrounding suicide and suicide prevention. So what comes to mind?
One of the biggest myths actually that I want to talk about right now today would be the one that actually, because we talk about suicide, we will commit suicide. And that is one of the biggest myths right now. And it's one of the reasons why suicide is still such a taboo subject. People are afraid of talking about suicide. And yet, the more we talk about it, the more awareness people have, the more services they get, and the less suicide attempts are on our territory. So that was one of the biggest myths, is talking about suicide will cause suicide.
So normalizing the discussion, not normalizing suicide, but normalizing the discussion around it.
Exactly. And it's okay that people have suicidal thoughts. It's to get the help to get through it. And it's okay to feel distress, lonely, sad, everything that you can be feeling. This is why the Suicide Prevention Center is here for you. to help you get through those rough moments.
So would that be also another myth, is the fact that we all go through this stuff. We all go through times of despair. And even if we keep a tough upper lip, we look like we're doing okay. And I think it's a bit of a myth to think that, oh no, they
That's
look
right.
like they're doing really good over there. Boy, they're successful and they got the nice car and the nice house and the great job.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe things aren't that good.
Yeah, I would say this is the hardest part of our job because it touches everyone. It's not something that just touches people who have mental health issues or who don't have a place to live. This touches everyone from 0 to 100, and then also from poor to rich to girls to guys to, I mean, we touch every single person. And if it didn't touch you as you have suicidal thoughts, you must have had someone around you who had suicidal thoughts. Maybe someone you know have died from suicide. It touches really the whole population. And this is where it makes it really hard for us as a small team because we have a lot of demand from everywhere.
And that's understandable. I mean, these are really weird and tough times. And we won't go down this negative route for more than just a couple seconds. But with everything going on the international level, local politics, regional politics are tough. Here in a rural area, transportation is a challenge. People are isolated. Seniors are isolated. With everything around gender discussions right now, there's a lot of new information, new influences, and new pressures on everybody, trying to find our way through, like, what's true, what's not true, what can I say, what can't I say. The financial woes, the economy is kind of in the back trunk right now. So, and Christmas is coming up, so I can see how a lot of people can be facing these challenges.
They struggle. Actually, there's a lot of struggling. What I feel like saying is, if you are struggling or if you know someone who is struggling, don't stay alone. Talk about it. People around you, I'm sure there's a friend that you can talk to. There's family members, even like for teenagers, schools, they have teachers that are great to listen, and then they will refer you. And then you can always call us. But the main thing I would say in these times of struggles, don't stay alone with that. Don't stay alone with that feeling inside, the suffering that you could be living. I think it's very important for people to talk about it. Will make you feel better.
And I guess those are universal, like super important universal suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're coming up to Christmas, right? And it can be very joyous, but it can also
Mm-hmm.
be quite challenging, I guess. Do those suggestions work just as well for the Christmas season, or are there any additional suggestions you may have?
Actually, those suggestions I'm having right now with you guys is really universal, no matter what period, because some people will have a hard time during Christmas because of they're lonely, they don't have family, they don't have plans, they don't usually sometimes, people will work and now they're closed, so they don't have anything to do. But at the same time, the main thing is to find someone around you to talk. It's also to take care of yourself. Like Ed, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you do to make yourself happy, to make you feel good? What do you do when you have a hard day?
I'm pretty lucky. I've been with my partner for over 30 years now. So that's a great source of support and inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Although sometimes it's not enough, or it's too much for her. Like I kind of carry my heart on my sleeve. So sometimes I come home and I just want to, I just want to just kind of, here's what I went through the day. We share a lot. And so that really, really helps.
Mm-hmm.
All my family is back on the West Coast, but we can phone each other and we can talk. I'm surrounded fairly well. I can reach out. I always have someone that I can reach out to. Although it doesn't show when I put my belt on, I do like to go to the gym and that helps as well. I like to go for walks, like to go to the gym. So I think I'm able to find the resources I need.
And that's exactly what I want the people that are listening right now to understand. Answer that question that I've asked Ed. Like, what do you do to take care of yourself? And what's important for you to do when you might be feeling a little low? or little sad? Or do you have people to talk to? Do you have activities? Do you have groups around you that you could join? Is there some volunteer work maybe because you'd like to feel useful during the holidays? Is there something you could bring? Sometimes we think, oh, I'm not going to go help and, play cards at the seniors home because, I don't know, what am I going to bring to them? But it'll bring you a lot and it'll bring them a lot. It's a given and given service. So volunteering is also very good. So just things like that. For me, I walk, I have my dog. She's very amazing. So that makes me feel better. Like I have children who make me laugh all the time. Sometimes not, but most of the time. So, I mean, it's just also to find your go-to to make you feel better. So during the holiday season, that is something that everybody should take a moment and just think about. What makes you happy? And what does it take for you to do that, to make yourself happy?
So here's an existential question then, as a follow-up. What happens when someone isn't quite sure what makes them happy and they don't know where to turn, or they don't?
Hmm.
I know that you guys are there and that's why we're talking about your services
Hmm.
today. But sometimes there's a point and you just feel like, nothing's working, nothing's going my way. I don't have any friends right now. My family's far away. So I guess at that point, I guess the answer is kind of in the question, right? Well, then we turn to an organization like yours.
Exactly. Actually, a lot of people on our crisis phone line will call us and say, nothing's going well. I got nothing going for me, like you said. And in the end, talking and with us and maybe finding a little bit of hope in something brings out a lot more, because when we are in a negative, thoughtful situation, it's hard for us to see the positive. And it's hard. Sometimes we see it as a huge mountain to go to where we want to be. And yet that's where we come in. We help, we make it smaller steps, the smallest step possible for you to make it to the next day, and then the other step to the next day. And then at the end of the week, maybe that's where we will find a lot of hope and be able to see a lot more of the positive side. And maybe then you won't need to call us the next time because you will have those steps in your trunk.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Not like I wasn't honest with you 5 minutes ago, but I'm going to continue being honest. It's a weird expression, isn't it?
Yeah,
Let me
it
be
is.
honest.
Yeah.
Well, what were you doing 4 minutes ago? A couple of days, I had one of those days. And
Hmm.
it was just, and it happens to me every once in a while where I'm just bummed. I was just discouraged. And I was saying exactly what we're saying right now. That's what I was saying. This isn't working. This doesn't work. And I was extremely negative. And my spouse was there and she was just kind of listening to me and just, she knew it was going to be I needed some time just to vent and be really, really negative. And
Hmm.
it wasn't the first time. And it was just black. It was just dark clouds, and for a couple hours. That happens to me maybe
Hmm.
once every 2 or 3 months. It lasts a couple hours, and then we went for a walk. We talked about it. I had a good sleep.
Hmm.
I'm not a big drinker at all, so I didn't drink anything. I didn't need to numb anything out, and I got up the next morning and I was okay. And I don't mind mentioning that. I mean, I think it's totally natural and it happens to everybody. But I know what those feelings are like. And in the past, a long, long time ago, I went a lot deeper than that. And I did reach out for help. And it made a huge difference. Yeah. It can be like a black hole, right? It can be like trying to fix your internet and it just never stops, right?
Exactly.
It's just, where's that connection? I've just been hammering away at this thing. And no, I don't want to
Hmm.
make light of it, but I totally understand what that feeling is.
Yes. And like I'd like to just mention, it's a period. Believe in the process. It's just a period. You have that one day where, or a couple hours, maybe back in the past, you had it was lasting weeks, but now it just lasts a couple hours because you have those tools in you that you can use. Like you can vent to your spouse. You can always take a walk. You can call us if you feel like it's lasting, or sometimes, maybe your friends or your spouse or your family members will say, you know what? It's very hard for me to listen to all this negativity. It's not because they don't love you. It's just because maybe they're going through something also. And that's where we are here. because we can be that person you vent to for a couple minutes, couple hours, and then make you feel a little bit better, so then you can be back on track and keep going. And like you said, it happens to everyone. There's not one person in this world that can say they'd never had a bad day. Not one. So, I mean, it happens to everyone, and it's just to see the signs and to take care of ourselves the best we can when it happens. And if we see that it's just too much, then reach out to someone, reach out to us. There's other organizations. I suggest you guys, like everyone, just to reach out if it's too much.
It's a great way to lead into our first song today, Jennifer. This is Be Where Your Feet Are by Jason Mraz.
Feels like I'm surfing on a sound wave, zooming through the universe. Feels like we're bouncing off of light waves. I bounce so hard sometimes it hurts. Well, every time I think I'm stuck, the sun moves along and my shadow gets up. If you're lost, relax and be where your feet are. Every time I try to follow someone's way, my end result is not the same. But then I do that thing I do that's just for me, and amazing things start happening, and again and again. And every time I think I'm stuck, the sun moves along and my shadow gets up. If you're lost, relax and be where your feet are. Be where your feet Outer spaces where I'm spacing out, still looking up when I'm feeling down. I try to walk the talk I talk, but the tale is tall, and when I look up, it's still too easy to feel small. Still I found if you're lost, just relax and be where your feet are. If you ever get lost, relax and be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. If you ever get lost, kick back and be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. If you ever get lost, relax and be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. I'm gonna be right here.
Are you an English speaker looking for information on the services, events, and activities available to you in the Eastern Townships? Perhaps you're looking for some helpful hacks to simplify your life and stay healthy. Or maybe you want to stay up to date on policy and legislation that affects you and your community. If so, Townshippers Association can help. You see, we've been supporting the English-speaking community since 1979. So contact us at our Knowlton office at 450-242-4421 or visit our website at townshippers.org. You can find us on Facebook, or you can check out our About Townshippers video series on the Townshippers Association's YouTube channel. And of course, you can listen to the radio edition of About Townshippers on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and Thursdays at 1 p.m. right here on CIDI 99.1 FM. Be Where Your Feet Are by Jason Mraz. This is About Townshippers right here on CIDI 99.1 FM and now on CGMQ 88.9 FM. My name is Ed Humphrey. And our guest today is Jennifer Chisholm. She's project leader and counselor at the Centre de Prévention du Suicide Haute-Yamaska et Brome-Missisquoi. And we're having a great chat about suicide prevention, a super, super important topic, really at the forefront now that we're kind of heading into the Christmas season. As we all know, we live in a rural area here in the Eastern Townships. And what's the usual process? Do clients go to you? Do you go to them? Is it a bit of both? So what's the geographic format?
In Brome-Missisquoi and Haute-Yamaska, we have a huge territory, and we had to settle to have an office here in Granby to be able to have like our feet grounded somewhere. But we do go out everywhere. So let's say the main thing is to call our crisis line, and then we evaluate your needs. And then that's when we decide, okay, well, can we meet somewhere closer? What we've noticed for Brome-Missisquoi, people enjoy being close to home. They like to stay around. They don't like to go 45-minute drive to see a counselor. So what we do is we meet with them on their territory, never at their house, because we think it's good for them to come and meet us. And it's also to protect us as workers. So we meet either in the CLSC offices. We also have a couple of partners as organizations, and we also meet with clients in those offices. I'll take like an example in Bedford. I mean, coming all the way from Bedford to Cowansville, or let's say Knowlton, all the way to Granby, very far for people to come to our office. So what we do is we will meet at the community center in Knowlton, or either at the townshippers office. We are looking into maybe having a partnership with you guys. So it works like that. We try to find somewhere where people feel comfortable to come. And then either it could be at a coffee shop, it could be anywhere else that people would enjoy going and meeting with us. We try to make their transportation easier. Our main concern is the person in the center of their problems. I mean, if they need us, we will be there. So it's to find, like sometimes we go to the schools. We have partners with schools and we have offices that are lent to us at the schools to meet the kids. And we also try and take out the student out of a class that's not that important, like, I mean, school is important. Don't get me wrong, people. School is very important, but sometimes maybe a gym class or maybe, any class, but no French, English, I'll try and keep them set. And then it's easier for us when we talk with the teachers to see, if the kid needs help more in French, then we won't take them out in French. We'll try and go with their schedule.
So very flexible service offer. That's really, really interesting.
Yes.
Once again, in a rural context. I mean, it's a big, someone once told me that the Estrie region is as big as Belgium. I'm not sure, but it's a fairly big region anyways. You guys offer services in both languages.
Yes, we do.
In what way, if any, do suicide demographics or the need for suicide prevention change between the French community and the English-speaking community? Because we do know that when you're in a minority context, we're a bit more vulnerable. Sometimes we have access to less services. Once again, there's that language barrier. Are there any differences that we can notice?
There's a lot of differences between the French community and the English community. First is also, we give services in English. Not everybody on the territory does. So, I mean, if you need a certain service, sometimes when you're in the English speaking language, it's a little more complicated to get your services. There's also all the CLSCs and the hospitals, and not everyone speaks English. And so sometimes when the English community is a minority, it's more difficult for them to get their services quickly or to get their services adequately and where they need them. And there's also the fact where a lot of times the difference between a French counselor who can understand English and a real English counselor is very different, because that French, I'm not saying everyone, but that French counselor will not understand how that English client feels or understands the minorities that that person can live, or that community sense that that English person will live. So it's very important for us when we hire our English workers that they understand what the community is. What is an English community? What do they need? How do they feel? All that minority feeling that they can be dealing with, right? And just in that can have a lot of distress for someone. So if you're knocking on 100 doors before you get services, you might just stop knocking at one point. And that's where we try to understand that community a little bit better.
When one can A, get access to services, and B, speak in their native tongue where they're more comfortable expressing emotions and challenges and fears, that type of thing, it makes a huge difference.
Huge. I mean, imagine just talking in English to someone or trying to talk French to someone when it's not your language. It's difficult. Imagine when you start talking about how you feel, what your distress are, how can I deal with all this? And then you have that language barrier where the person doesn't really quite understand what you mean. Yeah, it's very, very difficult for the English community to get their services adequately.
Is everybody on your team bilingual?
More and more, I would say. It's pretty much Anne's making it like a priority for us to be as bilingual as possible. There's still a few, though, because our French demand is still higher. So, French workers can actually have a full caseload, but we are hiring bilingual. We are now 3 people. So, on a team of 5. So we are more bilingual than we are French. So.
And good on you.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're talking a bit about your team and about the need to provide bilingual services throughout the MRCs in which you work, Haut-Yamaska and Brome-Missisquoi. And we've touched a bit on it, the different clientele. We've mentioned the high schools and adults, but can you give us kind of the full list of the clientele with whom you work?
Yep. Our clients, like I said, vary from 0 years old to 100. I mean, we work with children, teenagers, adults, seniors, some workers, some unemployed. We also help when people have close ones, loved ones who have suicidal thoughts. We'll help them as family members or friends. We will also help all the professionals like the social workers, the school teachers, the colleagues at work. Maybe sometimes we meet with bosses and say, you know, we need to see this with this person. They might need an extra day off every now and then. You know, can we work this out for you? You know, so we do really everything. We look at everybody. Everybody's important to us.
I'm listening to you and I'm reminded of one of our last conversations during a community organization lunch that we actually had at your place of employment right there at the Suicide Prevention Center. And you said something that just warmed the cockles of my heart. Because sometimes in community radio, we don't always know what our reach is. We don't know who's listening. And you mentioned to me, you said, well, you know what, Ed, after those last interviews that you did with Anne, I think the last one I did with her was in just before Suicide Prevention Week last year in 2023. And you said, well, after that show aired, we got several calls from people that were looking for help. So I just wanted to mention that. That was wonderful news.
Yeah. I think, you know, sometimes just anybody who's listening right now, you guys are important. And maybe you have loved ones or friends that you see that they're going through a rough time. Give them our number. Tell them that they can call. Maybe you guys can call us and give us their number and we can call them to make sure they're okay. So it's very important for us to have that suicide prevention. And I mean, the word prevention is huge for me because that's what my main work is about, is to prevent suicide on the territory. It's every single person listening to this today. You guys are part of the solution and you guys are important to our community.
Well, we're going to jump into another song right now. This is called Ain't No Way by David Lindley.
people call me the space cowboy. Yeah. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice, 'cause I speak of the pompatus of love. People talk about me, baby, say I'm doing you wrong, doing you wrong. Well, don't you worry, baby, don't worry, 'cause I'm right here, right here, right here, right here at home. 'Cause I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one. I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I get my loving on the run. Thing that I ever did see. I really love your beaches, want to shake your tree. Lovey dovey, lovey dovey, lovey dovey all the time. Ooh, yeah, baby, I sure show you a good time. 'Cause I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner. Play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I get my loving on the run. I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun. I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one. People keep talking about me, baby. Say I'm doing you wrong. Well, don't you worry, don't worry, no, don't worry, mama. 'Cause I'm right here at home. You're the cutest thing I ever did see. I really love your peaches, wanna shake your tree. Lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey all the time. Come on, baby, now show you a good time.
Well, that was The Joker by Steve Miller. And just before that, we heard a song by David Lindley, a classic tune called Ain't No Way. My name is Ed Humphrey. I'm pleased to welcome you back to About Townshippers on CIDI and on CGMQ. And our guest today is Jennifer Chisholm. She's project leader and counselor at the Centre de Prévention du Suicide Haute-Yamaska et Brome-Missisquoi. And we're talking about, well, of course, suicide prevention and everything that it involves and how it's important to talk about it and how it's important to know where the services are. And one thing we touched on a bit earlier was the fact that it affects everybody, right? When suicide affects the people that are directly involved that make that choice and the people that are left behind, for lack of a better word, or people that are worried about someone that may be having these dark thoughts. So how does your team help those people that know someone that's struggling or know someone that has made that final decision? So we're talking about family, friends, coworkers.
Mm-hmm. Technically, we are here to help people. First things first, if that person, the relative, the family member, the coworker, the friend, know that their friends are going through something, they can call us. We will look with them to see what services will be provided to their friends, their family or loved one. We can also tool these people to maybe ask questions, specific questions for their friends and family to see, do you really have suicidal thoughts? Yes. Okay. Let's talk about it with a professional. Let's see if we can call the Suicide Prevention Center and they can help us. But first and foremost, we take care of that person who calls us, that loved one, that friend, that coworker. We make sure that these people are comfortable with the suicide topic. We demystify all their thinkings that might, we were talking about myths earlier. Everybody has those myths inside them. They all have these thoughts and think different things about people who have suicidal thoughts. Well, we will work with these people to help them demystify everything. And we also have post-vention that we call, and that is when family members or coworkers or friends have lost someone to suicide.
So you said that's a really interesting word. I just want to back up a bit. So we have prevention and you have what you call postvention.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. So let's say they have lost someone to suicide. In the next 48 hours to 72 hours, we try to meet with these people to make sure they are doing well. Because for us, it's important for everyone to feel comfortable and to be okay with all that involves a suicide.
Wow. So it's really a multifaceted service that you guys offer. And it's going to jump ahead to come back a bit. Now,
Yes.
our respective organizations, along with hundreds of other community groups and organizations, play a huge role, throughout our respective communities. We've got youth centers and women's centers, food security services, literacy. There's support services for seniors and women, youth, men, and everything in between, single moms, people with disabilities. So that the help that you just referred to, does that apply as well to these organizations that work with individuals, people like you and me, that could at some point face a life challenge and suicide? So how do you work with organizations?
We work with the organizations as a partner to help them be tooled with maybe clients that would come in with suicidal thoughts. But we also work with workers, counselors, social workers, teachers who also have suicidal thoughts because they have dark times and they're human. Everybody is human and they all have bad days. So even if you're a social worker or if you're a teacher or if you work in those organizations, you also can contact us and have a follow-up for a few weeks or a few times a year, or like punctual. Just call us when you don't feel well. And if you are a worker and you have clients who have suicidal thoughts, we will partnership with you and we will come in as a reinforcement. And it's something we believe in a lot also, is if you have a client who has suicidal thoughts, they already have a trust with you. So for you to call us, it'll be a lot easier for us to come in with this client because you trust us, they trust us. So we will be able to help that person twice as well, just because we partnership together.
Oh, it almost sounds poetic. Okay. Well, that's fantastic. That's very, very encouraging to hear how you guys are building or have built that network of support. And speaking of a network of support, you guys aren't the only ones in the Eastern Townships that offer this type of service, but you do work mostly in Broome-Missisquoi and Haute-Yamaska. So if people hear our interview today and they're out of those two areas, how do they know which prevention center to call?
Well, technically, I'll explain it a little bit. We are all underneath the CIUS de l'Estrie. So we're in the Estrie region, which include the Sherbrooke areas, and then it includes the Brome-Missisquoi and Otiomasquia. So we technically have three big regions. When it comes to Otiomasquia and Brome-Missisquoi, if you are on those territories, the suicide prevention center you need to call is the Centre de Prévention Suicide Otiomasquia Brome-Missisquoi. If you are in the Sherbrooke area, which I know the radio station is also broadcasting in Sherbrooke area, that is Je Vis. It's a suicide prevention center called Je Vis, and they also provide services on their territory, which is a huge also territory to cover. So we actually have two different suicide prevention centers on our territories, which is really great because we work in partnership also with them. So if somebody is calling and they're from Sherbrooke, we will refer them to Je Vis for them to have better services, better hours, better, because we can't just, we can't take everyone also on our territory. So it's very easy. Otiomasquia Brome-Missisquoi is the suicide prevention center, Otiomasquia Brome-Missisquoi, and the Sherbrooke area is Je Vis. We don't do the same services. Like, they don't have a crisis line. They do the one-on-ones a lot. They do a lot of the sensibilizations. They go into, places where schools, they do the networking a lot, which we do also, but they do it on their side of the territory. So they're very similar, but different at the same time.
But the good news is that we got you covered, right?
Yes.
So that's what's really important. So, Jennifer,
no matter where you are from, we got you covered.
Oh, that's great. Well, Jennifer Chisholm, as we head towards the end of our chat today, is there a number that you can give us? Is there a website that you can direct us to if we or someone we know needs help? What's the best way for us to reach out to your team?
The best thing is always phone call. The phone call is the most important thing. The number, I will repeat it twice. So the number to call is 450-375-4252. And that number actually makes you call the center, where you will talk to a professional counselor in suicide prevention. If we feel that you have a need for a certain service, we will refer you and we'll find you the best service. So I'm repeating my number, 450-375-4252.
And there you have it, everybody. This has been a wonderful discussion about a super important topic. Jennifer Chisholm, you are project leader and counselor at the Centre de Prévention du Suicide Otiomasquia et Brome-Missisquoi. And thanks for popping in and sharing us all these important details and letting us know that these services are available wherever people are throughout the townships and the Estrie area. So thank you very much. And will you go off and misbehave?
Thank you so much. And just before we hang up, I'd just like to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. And don't forget, you are not alone. We are here for you.
Couldn't have said it better. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you, Ed.
Derrière chez nous, il y a un champ de bois, puis il y a 7 ans. Oh, mamie a pris 2, et puis il a mangé 3, puis il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, petit pétant, puis il a commencé, c'est en joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, petit pétant, puis il a commencé, c'est en joliment.
Oh, mamie a pris 2, et puis il a mangé 3, puis il y a 7 ans. Elle fut gonflée au lit pendant 3 mois, puis il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis il a commencé, c'est en joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis il a commencé, c'est en joliment.
Elle fut gonflée au lit pendant 3 mois, puis il y a 7 ans. Oh, je l'ai ramené, à s'arracher chez sa mère, puis il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis il a commencé, c'est en joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis il a commencé, c'est en joliment.
Oh, je l'ai ramené, à s'arracher chez sa mère il y a 7 ans.
Je l'ai ramené à Sorel chez sa mère il y a 7 ans.
On m'avait dit que l'eau était salutaire il y a 7 ans. Petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
On m'avait dit que l'eau était salutaire il y a 7 ans.
On m'avait dit que l'eau était salutaire il y a 7 ans.
Une fois qu'elle fut rendue, elle buvait à plein verre il y a 7 ans. Petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Une fois qu'elle fut rendue, elle buvait à plein verre il y a 7 ans.
Une fois qu'elle fut rendue, elle buvait à plein verre il y a 7 ans.
Oh, sa mère lui dit, merci ton galant, il y a 7 ans. Petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Sa mère lui dit, merci ton galant, il y a 7 ans.
Sa mère lui dit, merci ton galant, il y a 7 ans.
Oh, on me remercie, puis à moi ça brille, il y a 7 ans. Petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, puis elle commence, c'est dans le joliment.
Ah, c'est un petit pétant, il y a 7 ans, 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 petit pétant,
Il y a 7 ans, petit pétant, il y a 7 ans, il y a 7 ans, petit pétant.
That was the group De Temps en Temps with their tune Petit Patin. And we've come to the end of another episode of About Townshippers. This is a weekly show where we do our best to put the spotlight on a lot of things, the services, the events, and the subjects that are important to English speakers living throughout Quebec's eastern townships. And if you'd like to learn more about Townshippers Association, check out our website, townshippers.org. You can also find us on Facebook. And you can listen to the show Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and Thursdays at 1 p.m. on CIDI 99.1 FM. But now you can listen to us on CGMQ 88.9 FM as well. And that's on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and Thursdays at 4 p.m. We really are. We're excited to be playing on both stations because that means we get to reach more of you throughout the townships. And that's a good thing. And we're really happy to have you with us every week. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Yvon Grondet a wee bit. He is our technician and our editor. And I got to tell you, he's really a radio show's best friend because he just does so much around here. And you know what? He's even got his own show. It's called the Ivan Hour, and it plays on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m., and that's on CIDI. And it's all about classic rock. And he's got great taste in music. So yeah, tune into the Ivan Hour, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Well, my name it is, and I tell you, if I have anything to do with it, it's going to remain Ed Humphrey. And this has been About Townshippers. Take care.